the Sixers and Eagles. Those are my two teams, the two sports I care about, and I love them. And I would always complain that I go to these games now, and now I'll pay for the tickets, the good tickets. Like I'll sit, I know where I want to sit, behind which bench for which part of the game, and I'll pay for them now. I only go to like 3 a year or something anyway.
It's a good amount.
And yeah, get to, and for football, it's for like the Sixers, and then I get to like one maybe 2 Eagles games if I can. But I'll pay the money and sit up front. But I also get frustrated that with all the broadcasting I do and things and the stuff I've worn and stories I've told, like my Philly teams give me zero like love from the team. The only person I know, which is awesome, but I know he was a radio guy or is a radio guy in Philly, is the in-house announcer. His name is Matt Cord. He's the guy that does the color in stadium, which is awesome. And before the games, when we go, he'll let us come down and like watch the practice from the floor, the shoot around before the game. He'll just watch that, and then we go to our seats. It's all nice. I've tried to get season tickets before, like seats that I want, and I could tell like the process is so tedious to get season tickets. At least in Philly, it's like you have to join like a fan club thing and then go on a list. And I remember asking that guy Matt Cord one day if I could. He goes, "Is there anything you could do? I'll pay. I'll pay for seats, but I just want to get like a 10-game package, great seats. I just want to not think about it anymore." He goes, "Yeah, let me have corporate accounts like reach out to you." And you could tell that when he spoke to them, I could tell by when the guy spoke to me, that when he spoke to them, he goes, "I need you to call a guy because he's looking for season tickets." He goes, "Big J Oakerson." And I could tell the guy he said that to went, "Okay." And just like, had no idea who that is. And when I call, I was like, he's like, "Yeah, Matt told me to call you, so you're looking for some season tickets." I went, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "You got to go sign up for the Sixers fan club." And I was like, I was like, so this isn't a help at all. And I kind of complain. And then when I go to the games and I sit in the seats, I can tell you, if you put on a Sixers, any game, random audience right now on a screen, I will tell you who almost everybody is in the front row. And whenever the game's not happening, I gleam at this front row like, there's one time, they have it all for me once, just one game.
Crazy.
They asked me one time, they had me down where I was going to ring the bell before the game.
Yeah.
Then they go, "Sorry, Vince Papale wants to do it." The fictitious fancy play, that's the guy who got on the Eagles from
Invincible. I knew I recognized
it's Invincible,
the name.
Which, by the way, that play is not the way it happened. The big thing they show at the end is not how it happened. It was a complete accident, and it worked out.
Really?
But I think they do it in the movie right after the thing. They show the play like this crazy, awesome, like, whoa, he did it play. The actual play was like pure accident. Something happens. Like the ball just ends up in his hands.
Yeah.
And no one's paying attention yet, so he's like, and he got in.
I think Joe Montana recently said that about Rudy, where he's like, "Dude, we didn't lay down our
Jerseys. Are you fucking
Rudy.
crazy?
He's like, no one. He's like, maybe a few people in the crowd said Rudy, but no one was chanting Rudy.
Yeah, they have to pipe it up for the thing. So I'm sitting in the seat, and it's a break in the action, and I'm staring at that front row and complaining to my girlfriend. I'm like, "This is crazy." I go, "Look how little they care about that front row." And I get no love here at all. And a guy behind me like taps me and he points up to the screen. And I'm on it. And I hear Matt Cord, the guy I know, go, "Oh boy, is that him right there? Is that the guy?" And I genuinely sit back like this and I go, and then it moves, it goes to somebody else. And he goes, "Is that him? How about this guy over here?" And then it just pulls back on another guy. And he goes, "No, there he is. It's our Schick Razors, beard of the game." So
Bro,
I was like,
this is the most depressing
so I go,
ever. And you didn't win?
No, I lost. But here's the thing. So then I go, "Oh, well, at least I did notice in the thing, like they really left it on me for like probably like 7, 8 seconds or something. Everyone else is just kind of like him. And I was like, "Oh, that was Matt." Like recognizing me and being like, give me like a little like kind of like
give him some shine.
just like a little quiet burn. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. And I didn't tell him I was coming to that game, so that was pretty neat. And then afterwards, the game, I go over behind him and I go, Matt. He turns around, he goes, "Jay, I didn't know you were coming to the game tonight." He wasn't even that. He didn't even recognize me. I was just a loser for shit of the game.
That is so weird because in certain circles, whether it's the Skanks and Skankfest or Bonfire or just the comedy world in general, you are talked about at the top of the top. Like, the best storyteller like in the world, the best stand-up performer they've ever seen. Nobody wants to follow you, all of that. I mean, I've never heard anything but that. And the people who know, the fans who know, and will be, you're on everyone's top 5, top 3, whatever, Mount Rushmore, all that shit. And they're, in the comedy world, you can be all that, and then you can be the guy who walks down the street and loses the shit beard contest. And then, except for, Chappelle, Louis, and, a couple guys.
There's
it's
something
like
good about that. Mike Fenoy is a great comic, too, told me, like, he made an analogy one time that, like, kind of eased my mind to, also for what it makes me realize more, like, what I want and what I like. Like, I genuinely don't, at this point now, this is, like, again, probably older realizations, but, like, I don't want to walk down the street and be I see, like, Sal Volcano and, like, what, like, if we are walking from one place to another, we have to make, like, genuine decisions en route.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Walking because you're like, and he has to put his hood up, or you're going to be stopped like constantly. Not that you don't love the fans. Like,
sure, you appreciate that, but it sucks.
It's a very, very interesting life, and on what it is you want. Like, I realize now, I want the success, financial, obviously, first and foremost, and respect of like the people you work with and your fans. But he made the analogy to Mike Fenoy, like, not everyone's going to be like, Guns N' Roses are like the biggest, Taylor Swift and all that stuff. He goes, some people are going to be like, he said Fish and like Grateful Dead, even though I'm not a fan of like that music necessarily. He's like, the thing about the Grateful Dead, like, or the Fish, like, never a radio song in their entire career. But if they were like, next weekend we're doing 100,000 people field in bumfuck Pennsylvania, it'll be sold out.
Totally.
And he's like, and you're kind of like hoping for. I go, I would rather have that. It's like, I'm fine with my fans knowing me.
There is a point where
I mean, I go to the airport 3 times at an airport on average. Someone is just kind of like, Big J. When you walk by, you're like,
you're cool, and you get a little,
or can I come back and take a pic? Like, sure, you know what I mean, like. But it's not
that
like,
feels good, and then
I don't
need
to have like, I don't have people like holding cameras over people's heads. To, like, that sucks.
And I think there is a point where when you're younger, you say like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that theme.
But yes, you want it.
But then there is a point where it's like, no, I truly don't. I would love the money that comes along with that, but there is that break-off point where it's like, all right, I want to make more, and then if it goes to this level and that shit starts happening, I honestly would rather drop back down.